And now, once again, Janet Kuypers. A week from tomorrow at Buzzmill, I am going to be the feature there on June 11th. And so I've got 11 themes for a bunch of poems. But anyway, just thought I'd share. So if anybody wants to do anything on a Monday night, well, you can go tomorrow to Buzzmill, or you can go the next week on June 11th and see a show all about the number 11 by me. And thank you very much. And I keep looking back here at this handprint on a book, and I'm like, that's so wicked cool. Yeah. Because I'd love to be able to do something like that. And I thought, I'm going to do like something like I want to do a collection book. And then I thought, well, wait, maybe I don't want to do that because then I'm leaving my fingerprints that anybody could just take and see. So I put pens over my actual fingerprints so you can actually see my fingerprints.
Whoa, I know that.
Just to be on the safe side. You know, ink in my blood, and I know that Robin was talking about that. You know, and we were all saying things like that. And I'm like, yeah, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have my fingerprints exposed for everybody to see. So maybe I'll just not do that. But, sorry, I've got 3 poems for you, and they're from the performance art section of this book. And I hope you like them. This first one is called Only Voice He Could Hear. When I was 10, I was the queen of Hawaii in a school play. Other students in my court actually kneeled around me, and then dancers entertained us while I always sat at my throne. I took advanced classes and was even a tough 10 speller. Could spell the longest word in the English dictionary, numinal ultrabicroscopic volcanoconiosis. And at this point, I thought I could do anything. So I learned a little French, but I don't know, I must have missed my petit déjeuner because I was feeling a bit peckish and wanted something more. I joined choir, even sang at my graduation ceremony with classmates before I went to high school, because even at the ripe age of 13, I wanted to live by those words we all sang. Climb every mountain, forge every stream, follow every rainbow, till you find your dream, until you find your dream. Because before the final graduation ceremony, an older man in a suit emblazoned with medals and ribbons from the American Legion came up onto the stage to award one student for the entire school with the American Legion Award, which seemed, you know, at the age of 13, like it was the highest honor anyone could ever get. And when he said my first name, I wondered, wait, there's another student in the school with my first name. How did they win? And because I couldn't believe it when he actually said my last name. And I walked onto that stage, and I went to get my medal from what I was sure was the nicest man I had ever met in my entire life. Once graduation ended, and I saw my family, my father said to me that during the choir ceremony, I was the only voice he could hear. This one is called Passport to Outer Space. A lot of us have experiences around the world, and I've tried to see the world, not just this continent, but like 15 European countries, the Galapagos Islands, Russia, China, India, South America, Antarctica. I've searched for these stories around the world, and I've gotten a passport stamped like mad. But my sister told me about Don Stupp, a friend of my dad's who ran a restaurant. Well, his father-in-law apparently bought and had the rights to the space in outer space. You know, like all that space beyond our atmosphere between planets and stars and comets and stuff. Even asteroids and all that's all crazy. Well, anyway, my sister told me that his father-in-law actually stamped the passports of the astronauts when they went into outer space, since they were actually crossing that area he actually owned. But Don Stupp was pushed away from their house once because at least 4 men from the FBI were there. Apparently, Don's father-in-law was minting coins. It wasn't money. It wasn't something that was valid anywhere, but it's illegal for U.S. residents to try to make any sort of profit this way. Now, Don and his wife and his parents have passed away, so I guess I can't get my passport stamped for going into outer space. But when you look up high in the Earth's atmosphere, a lot of places look the same. I mean, Siberia with snow peaks and mountains lines along the eastern, it looks like mountain lights along the eastern coast, and it looks like the Rockies in America in the winter. I mean, it's only when you get closer to the ground where you actually see the real differences. And this was the final piece that was in the last show at the Baha'i Faith Center in Austin here. And this piece is called Visiting Pristine Places on the Planet. When I was young, I thought the world was the size of a thimble, and all I needed was my own backyard. But on my own, I was a dot in the universe, and that had to change. So, after trying to climb over the Alps wearing socks and sandals, I went over to a nearby mountain to spend 20 minutes in its radon-filled cave to try to gain my strength again. After reading Hitler's concentration camp gates in Dachau, Arbeit macht frei, I walked through the gates and thought, work will set you free. Yes, it's true. I know it, because your choice and your drive is freedom. After singing an entire acoustic concert at a bar in Fairbanks, Alaska, we took off after midnight, added extra layers of clothing, and stood outside in the cold to bask in the geomagnetic dance of the aurora borealis. After being stared at by men in India because I was a tall Western woman not dressed like a Muslim, I had to go into their iron-filled, human feces-filled Bay of Bengal just to get my feet wet. After stepping over gold-covered risers and palaces in China's Forbidden City, an older Chinese man asked me in his halted English where I was from. When I said Chicago, he joyously said, "My kind of town." After I sang at the Great Wall of China, a group of Chinese people asked to take a picture with me. But I don't think it was my singing, but the fact that I was at least a foot taller than all of them. After buying a Balalika in St. Petersburg, I saw the alarming number of well-armed Russian guards at every street corner. And I thought, we will never be friends, but at times like this, we'll try to be friendly. After retracing Darwin's steps at the Galapagos Islands, I stopped near crisscrossed, overlapping sea lions napping so that I could contemplate natural selection. After seeing a destroyed British ship from early whaling in Antarctica, I photographed the first humpback whales of the season, then took a picture with a Gentoo penguin as it was in the snow, me sitting in the snow, and the penguin started to approach me. When a man in the third poorest country in the world was asked why the locals seemed so happy, he explained, "We may not have it all, but we can choose to be happy." And so we do. And with these words, I proudly choose life. I choose life for the orcas and the humpback whales and the chin-strap penguins and gentoo penguins, cormorants, gulls, the terns. I choose life for the giant petrels, storm petrels, finches, Nazca birds, even sea lions and marine iguanas. I choose life for the Wyoming bison that passed me on the street. I choose life for the deer who approached us as we slept in the grass under stars. I choose life for all the mass-farmed animals mankind slaughters because they choose to consume violence and not peace. I choose life because all around the world, peace is the one thing we all could always use.